Hello and welcome to Top 5 Friday. I'm your host Tim Cant. This time I'm feeling even more cold and emotionless than usual because we're about to run down the top 5 Vocoder plugins. By a command. Zils V Pass is giving us positive vibes at 5. MVocoder is bopping away at 4. Zils 5000 is a total G at 3. Vocoder is our funky freebie at 2. And VocalSynth 2 takes that robot top spot. At 5, Zils V Pass by Zils Lab. Modelled on Roland's classic VP330 vocoder and string machine hardware from 1979, this Zils virtual vocoder brings you classic features with some modern additions, perfect for bringing your robo-voice fantasies to life. The original Roland hardware was famous for both its string and choir tones, which when combined with its vocoder architecture allowed for some epic results. Zils V Pass takes it further than the original Roland hardware, offering a mix of vocoder effects and mod panels to give you more control over the sound than any 1980s musician ever had. If you like 80s futurism, then I basically insist you check out Zils V Pass. There is a demo version, so you can have a quick little play with it if you so desire. It is a combination synth and vocoder, and some of the sounds are quite recognizable. So let's start off by playing a bit of the default string patch. It's a little bit Vangelis-y, isn't it? Yes, mate. Your Blade Runner blues, they're all there. We'll turn the strings off and we'll turn the human voice on, and I'll turn down the volume level because this thing runs a little bit hot when you're playing with those. Let's play the same sort of chord. Bit melotrony, that's fine. But when it gets cool is when you turn the ensemble mode on. Super atmospheric. We'll turn those off and we will have a listen to the vocoder mode. So I've got a bit of a vocal on an audio track here. The plugin is on the audio track. We're routing MIDI to it from a MIDI track. So we'll just play this back and we won't hear anything until we play a chord. And go a bit higher. It's just chock full of vintage characteristic vocoder goodness. Let's try the ensemble mode for the vocoder. Ooh, clipping a little bit there. I told you it ran hot, guys. Let's have another go. And I won't spoil it anymore, apart from one thing, which I've never seen anything like this before. We've got water mode. Let's just have a listen. So yeah, if you've ever wanted to turn yourself into a water beastie, V Pass is where it's at. At 4, MVocoder by Melder Production. An analog-style vocoder plugin with up to 100 bands, MVocoder leaves the carry creation up to the user but goes far beyond your regular synth-based vocoder, offering comprehensive modulation, envelope following, smart randomisation, automatic gain compensation and tons more. If you want to smash together a carrier and a modulator with no messing around, MVocoder is a low latency, high quality way to do it. If you're familiar with Melder Production, you'll know that their stuff isn't really kind of like based on classic kit. It's all very modern and digital. Though this vocoder is analog style, let's have a little bit of a play with it. The important thing to know about this plugin is it doesn't generate any carriers itself, so I am going to use Serum for this. We'll have a little listen to what I've created. Just a little super sort to provide our carrier. We'll turn that back down and we'll play back our audio and we'll have a listen to what it does.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So it's a really clean sound, and you can adjust the number of bands up to 100 to make it even cleaner if you like. Let's have a play with that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So it's really intelligible, and you can also get a variety of different feels by playing with the detector, which is kind of like, you know, your ADSR amplitude envelope. So you get like a lovely reverb style effect. Get a bit of a slurry feel. And you can make it even more intelligible with the effects, like the whitening, which adds a bit of noise in there. Actually, I'm not sure if it does add noise in there, but it certainly makes it more intelligible. Bit of saturation. And, of course, a performance shift. And there's a bunch of different modes, including dual inversion mode. I don't really understand what it's doing, but it sounds sick. And of course, there's an absolute ton of modulation. You know, options, just huge amounts of stuff going on. So like all Melder Productions, it's got an insane amount of depth. So if, yeah, you really want to get your hands dirty, MVocoder is a great choice. At 3, Zils 5000 from Zils Lab. Another Zils plugin inspired by a real vocoder synth, this time the EMS 5000. The synth sound is based on Zils V emulation tech, offering dual oscillators, LFOs and envelopes, vocal denoising and more. And you can also pipe in your own sidechain input in there to use the vocoder filters on any material you'd like. That pin matrix at the top of the synth, that's there to select which band of the carrier will be sent through to which band of the modulator. So there's a wild variety of tonal possibility available from this particular virtual vocoder. Zils 5000 is our second vocoder from Zils Lab, and much like its buddy V+, it has an internal carrier synth, and also like V+, you can use an external carrier input. So let's have a look at how to do that now. So we have our audio on our Zils track, and we have another track with Serum on it. So let's play some MIDI on our Serum track. We can hear we have a little bit of a square wave on there. So to make it work as a carrier, we have to route it to the audio track with Zils on it, and we'll route it specifically to Zils 5000. So now when we play it, we won't hear anything, and we have to set up the sidechain input in Zils 5000. And how you do this, not immediately apparent. You'll notice, if you look very closely, that some of these panels have a cog on them that if you click them, will bring up advanced settings. So we have some advanced settings for both of the internal synth oscillators and the LFOs and stuff like that. And if we click on the output mixer, what's this? We can set up the sidechain. So we're going to select voiced and unvoiced synth, which tells the effect that we want to use an external carrier. And if we play it, we're not going to get anything until we turn up the sidechain level, and then there we go, we're in Robo Voice heaven. And that really is the tip of the iceberg with this effect. There's an absolute ton to get your teeth into. So if you're into vocoding, I highly recommend that you check the demo of this one out as soon as possible. At 2, Tal Vocoder by Tal Software. Not just a great vocoder, but a free one too. This is an 80s style vocoder with pulse, source, sub and noise oscillators, polyphonic or monophonic synth modes, portamento and oscillator sync to craft tones that are worthy of even the finest human glottis. There's also a sidechain input option if you prefer to use your own synths, of course. Elsewhere, Tal Vocoder has 11 band voice character control, S reduction or boosting, a release control and an exciter on board too. If you're new to the wacky world of vocoders, Tal Vocoder is definitely worth a download, not just because it's free, but also because it's relatively simple to use. As mentioned, you can use an external carrier signal. I'm going to use the MIDI input now and use the internal carrier. As you can see, I've got this MIDI track set up to be routed to Tal Vocoder. So let's have a bit of a play with it now. So you've got a bit of a Juno style synth section here, where you can change the level of each of these oscillators with a fader. You can even detune them against each other as well. And if that's not enough, you can add a bit of chorus too. What I really like is the release control as well, which you can use to tighten or loosen the signal respectively. And you can enhance the SE sounds with a bit of S volume. And that makes things a little more intelligible. Or you could just turn it down even. And another thing you can do, which I quite like, is you can get an interesting sort of demonic effect, let's say, with the noise oscillator. So we'll turn off the chorus. So yeah, by running basically anything through this with a noise carrier, you get a pretty sinister sound. So yeah, plenty of nightmare fuel for you there. Check it out. And at number 1, it's VocalSynth 2 from Isotype. The vocoder is just one module in VocalSynth, which also serves up a bunch of other vocal effects too, including CompuVox, BioVox, PolyVox, and the similar-ish Talkbox. VocalSynth's vocoder module itself contains smooth shift, scale, and level controls on the surface, and expanded, you'll get access to a 2-oscillator synth with band level controls. You can also avail yourself of 7 effects, including distort, filter, transform, chorus, and more, to help you get the ultimate robo voice. VocalSynth 2 is a powerful beastie, even just in terms of the vocoder stuff on its own. I mean, we're not going to look at the other bits and bobs in here, but there is an absolute shed load of stuff going on here. Let's play a bit with the vocoder. I've set it to MIDI mode. There's also auto mode, where you don't need any MIDI or audio input. If you want to use your own audio input, there's sidechain mode. So we're going to go for MIDI mode. We're going to play back our vocal. It won't do anything, of course, until we add some MIDI. Sounding a bit rough. Let's muck about with some various. In fact, let's go for the init setting. Maybe down. A variety of styles. There's loads of shaping, and the synths have a lot of stuff you can muck about with. Let's go for some sync saws. Bring in another oscillator. Let's do something crazy, guys. Let's add a 5th. So you can get really roboty, clearly. And then there's also all of these built-in effects, so you can really just get a tremendous sound with the one plugin. Just an insane amount of flexibility. So yeah, you can basically turn yourself into a broken robot with just a few clicks there, and there's an absolute ton of other stuff to get your teeth into too, so well worth taking the time to investigate. Well, now I understand why you cry, but it's something that I can never do, not on camera at least. Domo arigato for watching. Please click some buttons and I'll be back soon.